On the CBS Money Watch, the U.S. economy has a case of foodflation.
In recent times, families across the United States are facing a reality that feels more alarming each day: the rising cost of food. Reports show that prices of groceries are not just going up slowly, but could even double or triple compared to what people are paying right now. This isn't just about luxury items. It's about basic essentials that every household depends on. When food becomes too expensive, it affects not only the kitchen table, but the entire way people live. Today, we're going to talk about this growing crisis, why it's happening, and what it means for millions of people who are already struggling to make ends meet. So stay with us till the end, and if you want to keep following these important discussions, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and press the bell icon so you never miss an update. The rising cost of food in the United States has become one of the most urgent issues for millions of families. What was once considered a manageable expense has now turned into a growing burden that is reshaping daily life. At the heart of this crisis is a simple but troubling fact. The price of essential groceries is climbing faster than wages, and many experts warn that food costs could even double or triple in the near future. This means that items people once bought without thinking twice, bread, milk, vegetables, cooking oil, are now forcing families to make painful choices about what they can and cannot afford. To understand why this is happening, we need to look at several connected factors. Inflation plays a major role, as the overall cost of living in the U.S. has been rising steadily since the pandemic. Supply chain disruptions that began during COVID-19 have not fully recovered, leaving food production and distribution more expensive. The war in Ukraine also had a direct impact, as it disrupted global supplies of wheat, corn, and cooking oil, which are core ingredients in many food products. On top of that, fuel prices have risen, and since transportation is essential for moving food across states, every increase in fuel cost makes groceries more expensive by the time they reach store shelves. Climate change adds another layer of pressure. Severe droughts, floods, and unpredictable weather patterns are hitting farmers hard, reducing crop yields and making it more difficult to produce stable supplies of food. This especially affects staple products like wheat, rice, and corn, which are sensitive to weather conditions. Meat and dairy products are also rising in price because the cost of feeding and maintaining livestock is becoming more expensive due to the rising cost of grains. These global and local challenges together create a perfect storm that leaves families in America paying much more for the same basket of groceries than they did just a few years ago. The human side of this crisis is even more worrying. Surveys show that millions of Americans are already living paycheck to paycheck, and food inflation is making their struggles worse. For lower-income families, the increase in grocery bills often means cutting back on healthier food options and shifting toward cheaper, less nutritious alternatives. This can cause long-term health problems, especially among children who need balanced diets to grow. Food insecurity, once seen as a problem mainly in developing countries, is now a reality for many Americans. Food banks and charity organizations are reporting record demand, as families who never needed help before are now turning to them just to put meals on the table. This issue is not only about economics, but also about inequality. Wealthier households may feel the rise in prices, but can still afford to cope, while working-class and middle-class families are the ones most severely affected. The widening gap between wages and living costs means that even people with steady jobs are struggling to keep up. Some are forced to cut back on other essentials like healthcare, rent, or savings just to cover food expenses. This creates a ripple effect in the economy, as reduced consumer spending affects businesses and local communities. Government responses have so far been mixed. While some policies, like food assistance programs and subsidies, aim to provide short-term relief, they cannot fully solve the structural problems driving food inflation. Economists argue that long-term solutions will require investment in sustainable agriculture, stronger supply chains, renewable energy to reduce fuel dependency, and even international cooperation to stabilize global food markets. But these solutions take time, and families feel the pressure now, not years from now. If current trends continue, the U.S. could be heading toward a food affordability crisis that reshapes its society. Already, the percentage of household income spent on food is rising, and if prices double or triple, as some reports suggest, millions more will fall into poverty. For children, this could mean generations growing up with malnutrition and fewer opportunities. For adults, it could mean working multiple jobs just to cover basic survival costs. When we step back and look at the bigger picture, the rising cost of food is not just a market problem, it is a human problem. It challenges the very foundation of stability in families and communities. Food is not a luxury, it is a necessity, and when people cannot afford it, frustration and unrest naturally follow. History shows us that food crises often lead to larger political and social tensions, and that is why this issue deserves urgent attention. Right now, the warning signs are all around us. Prices continue to climb, families continue to struggle, and policymakers continue to search for answers. Whether or not the United States can solve this problem will depend on choices made today. But one thing is clear. Food insecurity in America is no longer a distant fear. It is already here, shaping the daily lives of millions. At the end of the day, this crisis shows us how fragile everyday life can become when something as basic as food turns into a financial struggle. It is not just about higher prices. It is about the stress and uncertainty millions of families now face every time they walk into a grocery store. Some believe this is a passing phase and that markets will eventually stabilize, while others argue that we are looking at the beginning of a long-term shift where food will remain expensive and out of reach for many. My point of view is that unless real steps are taken, stronger policies, sustainable farming, and fair wage growth, the situation will only grow worse, creating an even deeper divide between those who can afford stability and those who cannot. This is not just an economic issue, it is a human issue, and it demands urgent attention. If you found this video informative, and you want to stay updated with the latest global and economic developments, make sure to hit the like button, share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more detailed analysis and stories that matter to you.